We are His Golden Messenger, and this is What's in Our Bag.
Oh, shake, children, shake, yeah, ring your bell. Or go down, Willie, yeah, there's thunder up ahead. Yeah, shake, children, shake, or shake your damn.
I'm MC Taylor, and first is the Pilgrim Jubilees, and it kind of just sold me on the description, although I'm pretty sure that I have some Pilgrim Jubilee records on Peacock. This is greasier, apparently. The cover's great. It's a reissue.
Started with a tape, the preferred format for Freddy Fender. We're hoping our van has a tape player. We haven't checked, but
if it doesn't, we'll get a Walkman.
Yeah.
Why should I keep loving you? And I know that you're not true. And why should I call your name when you're to blame for making me blue?
Being in a band with these two has been about the most ear-opening 5 years that I've probably had as a musician. There's not a better van to ride around the country in than the His Golden Messenger van. I pretty much go to one section in every record store I go to, which is the gospel section. Luckily, you guys have a killer New Orleans section, which is right next to the gospel section, so I didn't have to go very far. So, Daptone. In the last few years, Daptone's been really kind of moving down into more gospel recordings. But this new release, they played with the Daptone band, and I've listened to it several times. They do some great tunes on here. Out of the Wilderness is great. 99 and a Half Won't Do, so good.
Let me tell you, 91, it won't do, y'all. 92, it won't do. You gotta run, you gotta run, you gotta run to see Jesus.
I got the McCartney record because I went down into my stacks the other day in Durham, North Carolina, wanting to hear That Would Be Something, and I realized that I don't actually own this record.
this picture right here. Wait, hold on. That.
Yeah.
Sure.
Actually, that one.
Yeah.
That speaks to me on a higher level.
Is that when he has a
Lower
baby in his
level.
coat? Oh no, that's another one, different one. Oh yeah, of course.
Paul McCartney is beautiful. He was the guy that I overlooked the most when I was a kid. Now I think he's the deepest musician of that whole band.
That would be something. It really would be something. That would be something. To meet you in the falling rain, mama.
I was really happy to find this record. I think it was pretty recently reissued on vinyl, but it's a beautiful instrumental record by Gimmer Nicholson. And it's really chimey acoustic guitar stuff.
That is an incredible record.
Kind of like Big Star crowd. Beautiful.
My all-time favorite band. This is early on in their career, live at a church, and the energy in this is just I can't believe I'm holding it in my hands. This should be flying around the room right now.
There are so many people living their life the best time, wondering in their mind what's gonna happen next. Oh, freedom the highway.
Also, just wonderful copy of We'll Get Over. Steve Cropper produced this. One of the last recordings Purvis was a part of, the son of the Staple Singers.
That's one of my favorite Staples.
Yeah, there's Mavis, there's Cleotha. Cleotha is my favorite. Cleety sang all the high parts, and I recently got to open Mavis's hometown show in Chicago, which was basically the honor of my entire life, and I might have overdone it a little bit. I didn't know exactly what to do, so I had a painting of Cleotha made for Mavis.
Yeah, how did that?
Well,
what
I
did she
gave it
say?
to her, and she's like, "You're trying to hurt me." In a great, just in a great way, where she was just like, "Oh, Cleety."
Oh, yeah.
So this is a compilation of African American gospel music from the 30s and 40s that I don't know all the names on it, but Arizona Drains is on it. She's a piano player who I really like, and Blind Joe Taggart, and there's a Blind Willie Johnson song that I love. So
Which Blind Willie Johnson?
God Moves on the Water.
Copy Smith gave orders, women and children first. Man at a live boat, I let out. Man at a live boat, crush, on more, on more, on more.
This record, I'm really excited about. I heard this song Wildfire on the radio, and I was dropping my daughter off, and it was one of those times like pulled off the road and had to find out what it was, and it's Laura Marling, and it's a beautiful record.
I think Blake Mills made that record.
Yeah, I think he did.
I need nothing back for me. There no sweeter deed may be than to love something enough to want a happy, get free, yeah.
Alex Bradford on VJ, Chicago label, did a lot of blues and gospel. Alex Bradford is kind of like a precursor to Little Richard. People like Little Richard and some other really fiery souled singers got, a lot of their stage antics from church. He also wrote Low is the Way, which is one of my favorite gospel songs that the Staple Singers did.
Come on, to the last goodbye to my bar. Tell my soul, we'll be saying hello to the Lord.
This is a record by a guy named John Moreland from Tulsa, Oklahoma, called Big Bad Love. I love it so much. I've listened to it more than anything else new. It's not fancy, it's just like incredibly well executed songs with like super deep melody. I mean, he's definitely like a guy that thinks about melody, which is really important to me. It doesn't feel like a pastiche, it doesn't feel like he's trying to make something from the past. It's totally contemporary and awesome. It's so beautiful.
I used to have a prisoner's point of view. Now I only care for being seen by you. 'Cause it don't suit me bad like before. It don't shoot me like it did before.
I own this in many formats, but I had to. Whenever I see it, I have to buy it because, especially being back in California, you gotta love the hippie country. How can you not? Look at here you go. Just look at these guys for a second. And
did a cover of.
Is it on here? Yeah, Seeds and Stems.
Seeds and
Phil played
Stems.
it. Yeah, Phil knows.
I know.
Well, I saw your other man today. He was wearing my brand new shoe. And I'm down to Seeds and Stems again, too.
Gospel at Colonis. This is a theater recording of a Broadway show that came on in the 80s. And basically, this is important because Clarence Fountain and the Blind Boys of Alabama were kind of in a low point in their career and really looking for work. This production came about and starred the Blind Boys as the choir for the whole thing. Big role and shot them right back to the top. And basically, this reignited their career that they're still touring on.
Oh, let me find. I got to find. Please let me find. Please help me. I got to find. I want to find. Sing, sing to
I got my son Elijah some Weird Al CDs. I'm getting him the UHF soundtrack because we were all out with our families in Durham the other day, and Elijah, my son, he's 8, and he already is a Weird Al freak.
Oh yeah.
But Elijah and Phil started ping-ponging back and forth with Weird Al lyrics, and Elijah got super pumped up and so happy.
I'm like, there's no way Elijah, I mean, you know the record Dare to Be Stupid? And he's like, oh, which song do you want to sing right now? And I was like, well, Stuck in a Closet with Vanna White sounds great. And we were going back and forth with the lyrics, and I'm like, this is an amazing thing to be connecting with an 8-year-old over right now.
Then Phil was like, you've seen UHF, right? And Elijah was like, what's UHF? So then the next couple days until I left on this tour, Elijah was like, Dad, when can we see UHF?
Never before in the history of motion pictures has there been a screen presence so commanding, so powerful, so deadly. Conan the Librarian.
I'm sorry, these books are a little overdue.
Conan the Librarian. Tonight, only on U62.
And last but not least, Jimmy Geoffrey. Our friend Michael Chapman turned us on to this guy.
One drunken night.
Yeah, a night in northern England. We heard a different one of this, but this guy's cool. He has a jazz trio, or I guess this is a quartet, but there's no rhythm section, which is kind of, you would think is odd, but it's actually really cool.
Where are those chords coming from?
And this is coming from the bass player here, so I know, I like it.
I don't know if you all are fans of the band, but in the late period, Levon Helm, he had Larry Campbell in his band from Bob Dylan's band. Larry Campbell is a hero to all of us too. Great producer. So he assembled a band with Levon and with Garth Hudson, and they did a record, the Dixie Hummingbirds. And the songwriting is just phenomenal. This is my second copy of this CD. I haven't had it for a while, but I absolutely love it. There's great songs on here.
I'm going home when I no more trouble. I'm going home when I no more crying. I'm going home when I no more trying. I'm going home to relieve my worries. I'm going home.
So yeah, a lot of good gospel at the Amoeba today. Thank you guys so much.
Caledonia, my love, won't you come to me? 12 pieces of silver, gold in your teeth.
Amoeba.
Said good King John.